excited. Joel, I just felt like, you know what? I think they just need us this
Yes.
week. So
I hope you're not disappointed.
no, show us some love if you're excited for this Zoom, because sometimes I just feel like things are just on my heart and I just go with that. So you'll get that sometimes with me. So who are we? First off, there's so many new faces. I am Stefani Dunn and this is Joel Dunn. And we have been with the company almost 15 years. 15 years. So 15 years ago, things looked a little bit different. And we were just struggling business owners, fitness franchise owners. Life was hard, filing bankruptcy, standing in food lines. It was just not what we envisioned. And I just remember thinking there had to be something else out there. And if somebody could just show me something, then I would do the work. I wasn't afraid of the work, but I didn't have a college degree. I didn't have the things to really do it. And it was one of those things that I wasn't looking, but I was looking, like
she was looking, she wasn't looking for this is what she means to say.
Yeah. And so when Joel knew that I just was feeling depressed and I needed to get my hair done, we were lucky that we could go to a friend, and that moment completely changed our life. And you're going to have those moments in your life where there's something that will drastically change it forever. And that was a moment for me. A girl had lost a lot of weight. Not even a lot. She just looked really good. And so of course I asked her, what did she use? And she said this wrap. And so that was It Works. That was the product. So I always go back to that moment in time of like, I didn't want to, but why not? I was ready to get healthy. I was ready to lose some weight and feel better about myself, even though we didn't have the money. I'm so glad I said yes and just went at it a little differently, because looking back, now people are like, oh gosh, you're so lucky, but they don't see the work that we put in to get to where we are today. So I just have felt like, man, I just want to share this story because it resonates with me. And I feel like some of you need to hear this because we're in a spot right now. So some of you brand new, you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet, but you're on this Zoom. So that's a first big thing for you. So welcome to the team. But then the second thing is there's a lot of bonuses on the line. So we have weekly bonuses that you can get for customers, 300 VV, that's $50. Those are paid weekly. You add a distributor if you're new, that's another $100. And you do that a couple more times and you earn a builder bonus and it comes out to $800. Then we have amazing bonuses right now, you guys, like Emerald bonus, 3,000, Diamond, 10,000, double 15, all the way up to Ambassador. And we're just over halfway through the month. And this is when the bonuses end, is March 31st. And so some of you, is anybody feeling like it feels so far away? It feels like I'm just not sure if I can do that. So drop a 1 in the chat if you feel like you just feel like it's really out of your stretch. Okay, so there's quite a few of you. So I'm gonna go ahead and read something to you guys if you guys are okay with that, because I'm going to talk to you right after I read this on how I can help you stretch yourself and actually see things in a different perspective. So I'll try to read slowly because I'm a fast talker. I'm always reminded in my international Zooms, talk slower. So I try. Some of you may have heard this story before. It's something that I have in my notes and saved, and I've shared it a few times, but I just felt that even if it's for one person, somebody needed to hear this tonight. So I'm going to read this to you and then we'll share after. So a young student approaches his mentor one day and asks, "Sir, how do I become successful? It seems I'm missing something. I have tried different businesses. I have worked hard. I am great with people and I know how to focus, but it seems everything I try never works out the way I plan." The mentor looked at the student for a moment and said, "Let me tell you a story." It's Thursday morning and Roger rises slowly out of bed, his bones aching and head spinning. It takes a good 10 minutes just to get to his feet. His wife and daughter are still asleep. He walks slowly to the bathroom, and next to a mirror, there's a scale. He hops on just like every morning over the last 15 years. It reads 589 pounds. He is 39 years old and has been battling obesity his entire life. He hasn't weighed less than 400 pounds since he was 19 years old. Roger has tried every diet, every exercise, every weight loss program out there. Thousands of useless dollars down the toilet, he thought. He started thinking of how hard he had tried over the years. He truly gave it everything he had, and regardless of effort, he never managed to lose more than 40 to 50 pounds, and it always came back shortly after. Depressed, he finally just accepted the fact that it's just not possible. Maybe body type and metabolism won't allow me to lose the weight, he thought. One night, Roger and his family were out having dinner at their favorite restaurant, and he looked up and saw an uneasy look at his daughter's face. She was 12 years old, and she was his world. Moments later, she collapsed and passed out at the table. The police were called, and a few moments later, an ambulance arrived to take her to the hospital. Roger and his wife rushed to the hospital, scared to death, and prayed dearly that she was okay. They were in the waiting room for about an hour when the doctor came in with a worried look on his face. He explained that their daughter was stable, but there was a big problem. Her kidneys were failing, and although she was on dialysis, she was going to need an immediate transplant. Roger, still in disbelief, immediately offered to be a donor for his daughter. The doctor nodded, and then workups began for the transplant. But a few minutes later, the doctor came in and had a sad tone in his voice. He informed Roger that the workups came back and the news wasn't good. Due to his weight, it would not be possible to do the procedure, and Roger could not donate his kidney to his daughter. It would be too dangerous, and that simply could not take the risk. Roger, holding back tears of disbelief, asked the doctor a simple question. I have to be my daughter's donor. How can I make this happen? How much weight would I need to lose, and how much time do I have for this to work? The doctor, looking concerned, informed Roger that to even consider this procedure, he would have to lose 250 pounds in the next 5 months for it to be possible to do the procedure. The mentor looked at the student and he asked a simple question. Do you believe Roger lost the weight? The student replied immediately, of course he did. Then there's the answer to your question. The mentor wisely replied, if you can truly understand why he lost the weight that time and not all the other times, you will truly understand how to be successful in anything you pursue in life. It's never the how, it's always the why that holds people back from their dreams and desires. Make your why meaningful, make it emotional, make it worth going all in. When your why becomes big enough to become unstoppable, when your why becomes big enough, you become unstoppable and success becomes inevitable. What is your why? And like, I feel like I was getting choked up because some of you all are in a spot that needed to hear that needed to know that you can make that decision and anything is possible when you decide, I'm going all in, I'm going to go for it. And I remember that moment for us, like, can I even do this? I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know anything about It Works, really. I know some of the products, I have a chart, but how can I, somebody that didn't go to college, felt like a failure, going through bankruptcy, feeling like everybody saw that on me, how can I be successful in this? And I just remember thinking, I don't know how, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my family's future. I want to make a difference. I want to show my daughter what's possible. And that's something that, as we're coming into the tail end, it's not a matter of how you're going to do it. It's you're going to do it. You have to have this unwaveringly belief that you can do this because I know many of you have kids and that it pulls at our heartstrings, right? Like, man, we would tell them they can do anything. Like, I'm a little disappointed. I don't see my little Catherine on tonight, but like, if I were to look at Nicole and our child needed something from us, we would find a way. There is no question that you would do anything and everything in your will and in your power. So that's the question that I want you to ask yourself tonight. Are you willing to do the things that most people won't to get the goal that you have set for yourself? And when that happens, when those light bulbs go off, like, it's incredible to see that. And so that was on my heart tonight, because we do have a window. It can either be like, okay, the month's half over, or there's still so much time to reach out to people, to work with my team, to get more customers, to reach out to more distributors. So that's been a lot of what Joel and I have been talking about. Is first, you got to make the decision. And I'll go back to why am I different this year, Joel? Do you think looking at after 15 years, I feel different this year. I need to know, do you see that in me?
Yes, you are being absolutely intentional on a completely different level, completely focused and completely intentional in everything that you do and in every action and every moment that you have available.
So with me sharing this, so you guys are just going to get a little bit of like, I'm going to give you guys some like, what am I doing? Because I know you guys want to know, like, how are you enrolling customers and distributors and all of those things. But I also want you to know the conversations that Joel and I have daily, because it's not necessarily about me, it's about you. It's my desire is so much more about me showing up for you. That is where Joel and I are in our life. Like, I show up to show you how to show up. I am being intentional to show you what intentional looks like. So we've talked about that a lot.
Okay, guys. So she got to share her story. So now I'm going to share my story. So long time ago, there was this guy that revolutionized an industry, and his name was Henry Ford. And he was getting interviewed for a newspaper article. And the reporter came in and he sat down and he said, Mr. Ford, I'd like to ask you some questions about your business. And he said, sure. So the first thing that he asked was, well, tell me about your assembly line. And Mr. Ford got on the phone, and all of a sudden a man ran in and answered the question for the reporter and then ran out. And he said, okay, well, let me ask you another question. Asked him another question about how do they get the tires just right? And so he got on the phone again, and a man ran in from the factory, asked the guy the question, and he answered it for him. And this went on for like 5 or 6 questions. And finally, at the 7th question, he goes, I have a question, more so a statement, Mr. Ford. It seems to me that you are a complete invalid and don't understand a single thing going on in your business. How can you run this business and be so adept and not know anything? And Mr. Ford looked at him and goes, and that's where you don't understand how business works, because the man that knows how will always work for the man that knows why. So when it comes to your business, Steph's very good at sharing the how all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. If you go back to our story, the most important thing was why. We didn't want to stand in food lines anymore, because if your why is strong enough, you will figure out how. If your why is strong enough, and just hear me because you're on the Zoom, you don't have the time to be on Zoom. You're going out and doing it so that you can accomplish it. When you know why, you will persevere and push through. The part about the why is that it is connected to emotion. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the why, we ask you, you need to look down multiple layers. And it's normally 7 layers deep. When you ask yourself why, well, why did you join this business? Well, because I wanted to make some money. Okay, well, why did you want to make some money? Well, because we don't always have enough at the end of the month. Okay, well, why do you feel that you need more money at the end of the month? Well, because I feel like I'm drowning. Okay, well, why do you need this? And ultimately, as you go down, it's why is it important to you? The next question, why is it important to you? Why is it important to you? And then once you get down to it, that 7th level all of a sudden uncovers what it truly is. Is it truly because you want the money, or is it because of the fact that you're tired of leaving, tired of working, never seeing your family, never seeing your kid, never spending time with the spouse that you married? It's not about the money. It's the underlying thing that the money is going to provide for you. So now that you know what that thing is, that is the emotional thing. And when you tie the emotional thing to the how, you become unstoppable.
Yeah. I mean, it really can be so simple. And I think that's why I've been like, I'm seeing people have success, multiple people having success, and others may be paralyzed. And so, me, I'm not content. I want everyone to have the success. Joel and I want that so badly for you to step into that destiny that you were called to be here. You didn't just come here to be here. You didn't just come to show up on a Monday night Zoom every night. Although some of you like the community, that's a piece of it. There's so much more. Like Joel said, why? Why do you want this? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to spend more time with your family? What is that? And I think that's the important thing for me. I did not know how or what I was doing, but I knew why. I wanted to see my husband. I wanted to see my daughter. I wanted to have an extra $100 to be able to say yes more. And that's where it starts. It's those little moments that lead up to those big, big moments. So you got to stretch yourself though. I think, even though you guys know your why, like really think about that. We haven't talked about that in a while, because if you know me, and you'll get to know me, if you don't know me, I am very focus driven. I don't need a lot of fluff. I just need a quick little like, hey, do this, and I'll go do it. Like that's me. So I feel like when I want to do Zooms, I'm like, well, I just want to tell you guys what to do and just go do that. But there's so much more that goes on with our brains throughout it of, you don't know, my why was so strong, and it's still so strong because I'm not going back to that place. And I think about this when people are like, well, Joel, Steph, you don't really need to do this. No, we don't. But I would have to, if I went back into time, I would be having to go to a job, right? Every day, somebody telling me what to do and not getting paid for what I'm worth. And so I think about that and I'm like, no, I want to show people what you can do and that it's still possible even after 15 years of getting customers that you would think I've gone through everybody. Like
I was telling them that on the international Zoom today. I'm like, guys, just so you understand, we've been doing this for 15 years. Every single person that we know has been asked. We have to go find complete strangers every single day to show this business to, and we still get the work done.
I think, I'm reading some of this. You don't need to be an expert at everything. You need to be good at a couple things.
And here's why. Just like that story, his compelling why made him figure it out. Now, here's the next iteration of that, which I told this to somebody on a call earlier this week, is which Steph was like, okay, this is something that we really need to get on. I said, if I told you and I took your kids and said, you cannot have them back, and I might possibly hold a gun to their head until you get a distributor and 2 customers, or a distributor and 4 people with the 30-day drop. I know you guys know I'm a good guy, so you probably wouldn't even believe me. But if it was a bad person doing that, and I told you that was the only way to make it happen, you would have that done in under an hour. That's the kind of drive behind your why that you need to have. You need to ask yourselves questions like, is my family worth what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Is the example that I'm setting what I want my children to be like when they're adults? These are the things that you have to put in front of you as carrots, but then also a fire behind you to run towards.
So our why has changed over the years.
And it does.
And it constantly will change for you. And so you have to find that, dig deeper, like what's going to bring the fuel that you need and that fire to keep going. And so Joel and I, why do we do this? Well, our desire is to help you, to show you, to lead you by example. And the things that we know how to do are to get in the trenches and do that with you. I'm not going to tell you something unless I'm doing it, unless I've tried it. And so a couple of things that you need to do. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. So tonight, make sure that if you're running towards, maybe your first builder bonus, you need 12 customers and 3 distributors. Maybe that's your goal that you're going to print that out, get into your app and do that. If you don't know, ask in a team page or ask your upline to help you. If you're going for emerald, if you're going for diamond, everybody should just stretch themselves and pull out a diamond chart, because I know what's possible when somebody makes a decision and you're not afraid to talk to every single person in your phone, on the computer. Like, something magic just happens when you decide. And so a couple of things to keep in mind as we're going. People need what we have. It's our job to share and not have the emotion come intact when somebody may not look at it or they don't respond. I want your mindset in a place of like, I'm doing the work and the right people are going to come in. You got to be out doing the work. You can't just think about it. Okay, you've got your why, but if you're not doing, you're not going to get to changing your life just by thinking about it.
Your why ultimately needs to lead to intense, massive action. Yeah. That is what it is designed to do. It is designed to get you moving and keep you moving until.
I mean, I don't think anybody likes to cold message. If they're your friends list and they're in your phone or on Facebook or Instagram, they are your friend. So I want you to start getting that out of your head, that it's a cold message. That's a lie. That is just something that you believe is something as an excuse that you don't want to message. That person could be praying for you to be reaching out to them to be like, hey, have you seen what I'm up to right now? People are making amazing money. You could make some extra money on the side. Are you open to that?
And also it's what you're speaking. You just spoke, I don't like. But if you start saying, I am a master at communicating and reaching out to offer people things that they didn't even know they needed, so you will break through that.
Yeah. And that's practice. That's getting over it and doing the things uncomfortable. Like, I was so uncomfortable, you guys. I had to go into like strip malls and talk to people in person. Do you guys do that anymore? Probably not. We have social media now. It's a buffer, so it's not as scary. Like, we can just delete them if we want. Like, you can't delete a person if you're talking to them. So that's where I was at. Like, but I was willing to just have me get in front of them, because if somebody would have just told us about that earlier, maybe we wouldn't have gone through what we were going through. So think about that. So it's our job to offer the product and offer the opportunity. That's what our job is to do. And a couple things that can make it easy is if you go to my Facebook and you just follow what I do, you can take the words and then you can use your own picture, but you can do that. You got to get good at being consistent before and after pictures. I don't need to do that on my wall all the time. I'm doing that to lead new distributors to see they can follow suit very easily. So all of you can do the same thing. To maybe change a few words to make it you. But if you're doing an inspirational and you're not really sure what that even looks like yet, go to my page, take the words, use your picture, before and after picture. Are you talking about the business opportunity? Use people's slides. It works, does a great job in Road to VIP. There's so many resources that there's no excuses for you to do those things. So we got to keep it simple. And that's the first thing, is committing to yourself to be consistent enough to get it out on your social media and in person, wherever you can be. Be a product of the product. As you're sharing before and after pictures, you got to love something. Me and Joel love a lot of the product.
In case you guys didn't notice, I had a new before and after drop today. You should probably go check that out. It's kind of top secret-ish.
So when people are like, give me clues, what would you do? Be a product of the product and write down how you're feeling. I think that's key too. Some people don't lose weight. So when I'm talking to potentials or they've ordered from me, I'm like, please take your before and after picture and write down how you're feeling, because you may feel better before you even see a weight loss difference if that's what they want. So be a product of the product. And then every day, you guys, you got to talk about your business. So you got to talk about your business, whether that's sharing on social media, stories, meetings, events. But if your mouth's closed, your business closed. So that's why you got to be consistent, because not everybody is going to see a post at a certain time. So if you feel like you've done this and you keep repeating the same thing over and over, that's a good sign. because that's how duplication happens. So that's something that you want to do. You got to show up. You got to show up for yourself. You know that it's worth it because there's people that you can see on the Monday night motivations that are constantly, people are promoting. We had how many promotions last month? So you know that it's possible. It's not that it's not possible. It's, they just made the decision to do it. So you got to show up. Real easy. What we do, we enroll customers and distributors. That's how we build this business. As you're enrolling customers and distributors, be loud about that with your team and with your upline so that people can help you and you can max out how to build as quickly as you can. And then you go Ruby and you teach Ruby. That's really what we do, you guys. And I think, you know, if I were to go back to this weekend, I mean, I feel like I'm not a necessarily, I don't want to say that I'm mass enroller, but maybe, I think I had a good weekend and I want you guys to get out of this. I think I sometimes get in my head and I feel like, do I really need to post on the weekend? Or even anybody going to look at that? Does anybody else think like that? Drop a 2 if you think like that. Like nobody's even looking at my social media on the weekend. I don't need to post because I'm not going to get any customers or distributors. So I want you to eliminate all of that and just trust the process. Don't look at the comments or likes. If you need extra love on it, reach out to people so that we can do that on your posts. But here's what I noticed is I'm this year been very intentional because I want people to copy me. And so here I am, it's the weekend. Oh man, you know, I'm so excited because it works as giving us everything to be successful with promo after promo after promo. So don't
promos on bonuses.
Wait to start talking about
new
things.
Products.
So we're being consistent in stories. I'm sharing before and after pictures all weekend long. You guys, we did, I think 15 customers and a distributor in 3 days, all in the weekend. When I used to think that people aren't looking at my stuff on the weekend, how can I do that? So how did I do that? I had before and after pictures up. I had to make sure I've been following up very intentionally every day, every couple days with people, because we don't know, this sale might be the one that flips it for them because we had the free smoothie. Well, maybe they didn't want the smoothie. Now we have the 20% to offer them. So I was letting them know, hey, if you order now, you're going to get an additional 20% off. So if you start getting in this pattern of being intentional, it's very easy for follow-up to reach out to people. Are you posting before and after pictures on your wall? You can just reach out to people then and say, hey, I'm not sure. Have you seen what I'm up to? We've got brand new product on the market that's just gone viral. Are you looking to get healthy or lose weight? Because I may have something for you. That's how it doesn't become cold and reaching out to make people feel like you're inviting them into something that you have that you're so excited about. Because I know when I'm reaching out, I'm excited for them. I know that they're going to love the product. They're going to see the results and they might even turn into a distributor. Like the girl that became a distributor this weekend is because she had been on the product, the 30-day drop, you guys, for 2 weeks. And she's like, my results are amazing. I have so much energy. I'm like, okay, I think you want to upgrade to a distributor. She's like, yeah, well, I don't even know, but yeah, I do. That sounds amazing. So have the relationship with them as you're still being consistent on getting it out there. And I think, you know, if you're following suit through the Zooms and you're focusing on the 30-day drop, adding a product, and you got 13 or 15 customers, like what we did at 100 BV, you almost built yourself a Ruby. There's no reason that you cannot get to what you have in mind for yourself. Because if I can still do this over all of these years, I know that you guys can do it, but you've got to sit down. Why are you doing this? What are you focusing on? And are you really being consistent? Or are you just in emotion? And that took a lot of being intentional for me of like, I'm going to do this and I'm human. And so I think some days are better than others, but I want you to know that it's possible. And it's possible for all of us because we all have different friends on our friends list. And so I think if you just are so excited, like to go out there and just say, this may not be for you, but do you know anybody that is looking to make income? Or have you heard of any of your friends looking to lose weight? Like anything helps me, and people want to help people, right? Like that's just, is really in our DNA to want to help. So don't be afraid to do that, but know your why. Again, you guys, um, this was just on my heart to share. I don't know. I kind of scrolled through. I think that that it helped some of you. Just know that we have a lot of time. I know what's possible in a short amount of time. I remember going to Diamond and thinking, it seems so far away, but I can do this one customer, one distributor at a time if I just put one foot in front of the other. And once you start going, you get into this motion, you feel that confidence, you feel that unstoppable power inside of you, and your team notices, your friends start to wonder, what are you doing? You're so excited over there. And then they just want to jump inside of what you have. And so I'm confident that you can take this knowledge, and I don't even know it's knowledge. Just sometimes you just have to hear things in a different perspective, in a different way, and kind of shake you up a little bit. But what I know is that we're storytellers, right? We go back to, it was powerful because it's a story and our stories matter. So know that you are in a place of your story matters, and you need to share it with somebody, because somebody's praying for you to reach out to them to help them be a customer or even a distributor. But Joel, did you have any last minute?
Nope.
I mean, I hope that you guys liked it. I know that I didn't have a special guest. I guess Joel is your special guest tonight, and I was your special guest. But we really know there's a lot on the line for you. And we've been there. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels to stretch yourself. And there's times and seasons. I'm not saying go like kill yourself for things, but when you can stretch yourself, you will be proud of yourself. And you may not even know the person or the impact that you have made on someone until you go out and do it. So I'm excited. Be laser focused. You know, there's going to be a lot going on over these next couple of weeks. Lean into the Zooms, lean into what are people doing, and you guys can always go and share anything that I post. I'm not super pretty with like a lot of content, but I get the content up so that you guys can use that. So we love you guys. Have an amazing Monday, and we'll see you next Monday.
See you guys.